Hey guys, welcome to the latest episode of our Mystic Road Trip. I am Kim. I am a spiritual wellness coach and a Jungian mystic who likes to use tarot, mindfulness, and astrology to help women find their way to back to their authentic self so they can find their path to what gives them bliss. And today is the day where we talk about the heroine's journey. And today's part of the heroine's journey is talking about embracing courage. And in some ways, you have to embrace courage. You have to in order to live that authentic life. Here's the thing. Courage is not always loud or dramatic. In fact, oftentimes it's very quiet, stubborn, and it's really born in moments of when you decide to stop shrinking yourself. And it is the heartbeat that you will hear that signifies the returning of your authentic self. It's very hard it's not hard, it's very brave to envelop your courage and step forward, really live out that courage, because courage is messy a lot of the times in stories, and it's very romanticized, it's hero stuff, but real courage sometimes comes in those everyday moments. You having a shaky voice, but finally speaking, you're sending a text that you've rewritten 12 different times. That is courage. Walking away from something safe but that feels wrong is the hardest and most courageous thing you can do. Through the hero's journey, courage means you're turning towards the truth, even if society disagrees with you. And you can use all the tools we talk about. You can use tarot, you can use astrology, listening to your inner voice, and just listen for it to say to you, stop performing and start living. The role of fear and resistance, though, is important to talk about when it comes to taking the next courageous step towards finding your authentic self and living the way you are meant to live. Fear doesn't disappear, ever. In fact, when you start embracing that courage and stepping into this stuff, it's going to get louder. It's going to get louder and maybe sometimes even deaf. Your mind might be like, who do you think you are? Or conditioning is like, you've worked too hard to rock the boat. But you have to reframe that fear. Carl Jung said, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. And what he was talking about was realizing that you have to reframe that fear. When you start feeling that fear, that is just like a guardian testing your readiness for the next level. Shadows show your unclaimed power. They are not evil. We talked about shadow work before, and I think it's really important that people understand that the shadow is not evil. It's really powerful. It's really there for you. So when you get to these points where that fear starts uprising, because you're taking that step towards something you feel passionate about, you have to ask yourself what that fear is trying to protect. What version of me would fear this the most? What version of me would move forward anyway? And you want to go that way. But you have to understand what that fear is trying to protect. It's there for a reason. I will repeat this every episode no matter what. Some of these things were there to protect you, right? Fear is there because our brains have learned to question things that are new, uncomfortable, and they register them as danger. So our body is trying to be like, hey, this doesn't seem like it's right. But our body and our brain doesn't necessarily always calculate things properly. When I started to do my get ready for my big trip, I was so afraid. And where the fear hit me the most was the minute I got to the airport to take off for Greece. Stepping on that airplane, fear. Stepping off that airplane, fear. Getting on the metro, fear. Going into the hostel, fear. Everything was fear for the first couple of days. But you know what happened? After I did it over and over again and I saw I could do it, the fear disappeared. I mean, there was still fear there. There's always a little bit of fear, but I didn't feel it as much. By about the second month in, getting a bus, getting to the bus station, getting to the airport, getting to the hostel, all these things became just kind of the things I did to benefit, to live the life I wanted. But you have to push past that fear and take that courageous step. And once you've shown your brain that it's safe, that you're okay, that you can do this, it starts to calm down a little bit. Now, if we take a deeper dive into astrology and tarot and energetics, especially around courage, we can find some places where you may find it manifest, but it's going to manifest different. So Capricorn Sun, perseverance showing up repeatedly, Gemini Moon, curiosity, Pisces rising, passion, right? Tarot has it there. And if we look through the Jungian lens, courage is basically the individuation in motion. So this is you confronting unconscious parts to become whole. And it does take a lot of courage to do it because it goes against the things that your body learned to keep you safe, to keep you protected. I think the biggest tip I would say is that on along your journey, I think you need to practice courage daily. It's a muscle. It is a muscle. I believe it's a muscle. So in small, very, very small ways, say no when your energy says no. Instead of saying you want to do something or somebody asks you to say yes, if you don't want to do it, say no. That is courageous, especially if you are a people pleaser. Admitting you want more than survival. That's something I struggle with to this very day. I want to have money, right? But the part of me that comes from the girl that didn't have a lot of money, that had to learn to be happy with what she had, or I was supposed to stay humble, she struggles with that. It's hard for me to look at somebody and be like, well, what do you want? Oh, I want to be, I want to be a millionaire. It's okay for you to want things. It's okay for you to want more than just survival. That's okay. And that's an act of courage. You need to allow yourself to be seen, even when shaky. So even when you're nervous about doing something, I mean, of course, if the panic attacks and stuff, there is mental health issues you have to play with. Even if it's just being seen by one person when you're not certain, when you're not feeling certain, that's still courageous. That one person is your first step to allowing people to see you, see the real you. Some things you can do to have practical, like to do a ritual, pull a card, check transits. You can ask yourself every day, where is courage being asked of me? To try to do one aligned action, whether that's big or small, with where you're looking to move towards. When you can do all these things together, that's embodiment and shadow work in motion. You can use these things to find the courage, to grab the courage, to stand up to that fear, to make that first step, just a small step towards your authentic self. It's going to be courageous. Any action you take to find your authentic self, that's you being courageous. In this heroine's journey, you are both the dragon and the treasure. If you can do these practical daily things where you exude your courage, you're going to be reclaiming your voice and your life. And that's what trying to find your authentic path is all about. I think what I would like to encourage you guys to do is to breathe, feel the fear, and move forward anyway. And that's really all I have today. I want you to share this with someone needing that reminder that courage does not equal fearlessness. Courage actually equals freedom. And if you like this and resonated, make sure you follow and subscribe. And if you want more, you can check me out over on TikTok and Instagram. As always, guys, I just want you guys to stay safe, stay curious, and reclaim your voice. Stand up to that fear. Be courageous today. I believe in you. Have a blessed day.